What's happening, Hardscapers? Today we're building a retaining wall. Let's get into this. First off, I am filming this intro quite a ways away from actually having built this wall, so let's get rid of the snow here and get into this video. We've got our bedding layer ready that we did with a previous video. We're starting our wall. So we need minimum of 14 inches from the coping down to the base of this trench. We're going to compact this into the subsoil, then wrap our non-woven geotextile into the trench here. And with that checked, I can then go ahead and screed. So I'm checking front to back, left to right, and then I'm double checking with my level for our retaining wall. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start laying our retaining wall out. With this wall, we've got all of this leveled out. Now this is graphics wall, so it does have different widths to it. We try to get the more thicker ones in. We can only go so far because we still need to get those piers drilled in. And I've got my square here, so I know that we're 10 feet from point to point. And that's gonna be my starting point for the pergola posts, and then 12 feet out, and then 10, and then 10. So I'm only gonna go up to here with this wall. I'm gonna start stacking this wall, getting it up to at least show the client that, you know, we've got something done here. Hoping by tomorrow I can do those posts, and then I can complete that wall there once we get those poured. So this actual return of this retaining wall that comes along the side fence is actually a change order. It's something that we had to do because of the elevation that is the difference between the coping and where our bottom of the fence is, because that fence sits a little bit higher until we get about 6 feet out. Then it just means that we need to bridge that gap somehow. So we're gonna continue with the retaining wall. That was actually my very first plan and design that I had sent them more than a year ago. They didn't like the concept, but now they're kind of stuck with it. And I should have made a note of that back when I first created the design, why I went with that return. I don't know why I didn't make that note, because afterwards when they said that they didn't want it, I just deducted it and I didn't even think about the grade change a year and a half later. So it's nice to keep notes somewhere in a file that's easy to bring up to remember, especially a year and a half later, why you implemented certain things in a design. Now we have to go back and change that for them, and because that's on me, that's not a change order that I'll charge a client for. That's my fault. That's my own professional lapse of judgment. So this is actually going in for free for them. You can see here we have our string line that represents front of block. We also, another reason why we had to go with this wall is because of this root system in here. We do not want to kill this tree. So we're gonna actually go ahead and build this wall to preserve this tree as much as possible. We are building it far enough back that we can still get a drainage pipe in there, still get our 12 inches of drainage stone in behind it. We've got our collars on our string lines. These are awesome. I'm gonna have a link in the description for them. I'm not a master of tying knots, so this just helps me in tying my string line with those collars that just go on pins nice and easily, tie from one end to another. And I've measured 30 inches from front of string line to the fence. On each side, that gives me a parallel line with the fence, which represents front of wall block. See, my return here actually took me longer to level each block just because I roughly screeded that out to be able to give me a surface that I could work off of. So it shows you how important with this side of the wall that screeding was and that we're accurate. By the time we were moving along with this one went much faster than just this small return here, which wasn't that much. So screeding for a wall really speeds things up there. You can see that we've got our open graded base for most of our patio here. This is where we had to actually excavate quite a bit. So we built it up with open graded base, and everything slopes under the wall into a drain, which will exfiltrate into a French drain and take its way out there. So on top of this, we'll have our HPB, our gator base, which will get us to our height of our concrete, and then we can lay from there. Drainage pipe and backfill in behind the wall here, and we're moving along with this wall. It just looks incredible. There is our wall in place. It's looking really great. Really happy with the way it's turning out here, especially with that natural stone cap. I really can't think you can go wrong with this. We have a mixture of these blacks in here, and essentially if I come back here and take a look at this, I went 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top, and mix that up as you go across on that bottom layer there. So instead of 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top over here, I went 1 on the bottom, 2 on the top, and then mix that once again, 2, 1, and then in between them, randomly in between them, not at the same spacing or anything, I switched that up. So instead of 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top, I went 1, 2, and then 2, 1. So that's kind of a mixture as to how I went with that spacing, just to make it look as random as possible, but keep those 3 mixtures there instead of even numbers like having a 2 and then a 1 somewhere. That's just the way I went with this wall. But also at the top, you'll see that I have a random black piece along here. I'm gonna have to mix those around a little bit. What I'm planning to do with that is that my hardscape light fixtures, they are black. So I'm going to have the light fixture blended into one of these black pieces. So these are not necessarily going to be where they are at. It just depends where those light fixtures will fall in along this entire wall and along here. So that's where those black pieces at the top come into play. So this is why I love these natural stone caps. They just really accent anything well, like these black caps going with this graphics wall. The 3-dimensional aspect of this graphics wall really makes it stand out. And then I just haven't found a concrete cap that I really love. So I typically go with natural stone, especially if it's not going to be walked on or there's not going to be salt on it and everything like that. Otherwise I might seal it, but you just can't go wrong with this natural stone cap on top of this graphics wall. We'll also have hardscape lighting underneath this and shining down, casting shadows through this 3-dimensional aspect of the wall. It's gonna look incredible. Extremely happy with this color. You never know with natural stone, but this one really looks really great. Love it. You can even see right here, just that randomness in natural stone is awesome. I love it. There is, if you do get natural stone and then you try to match it like years later, say they were going to extend this wall at any point in time, you might not get the same exact looking natural stone. And they actually change the names of these colors from time to time, depending on how much that change has happened, how much it's not gonna exactly match what you're getting with that. Hey, I hope you've enjoyed this video of building this wall. If you have any questions, comments, leave it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it entertaining or helpful in any way, please give it a like. That really helps me with this channel. And subscribe to this YouTube channel for more hardscaping content like this. Thank you so much for watching.